Hey folks, welcome back. Welcome to Chapter 4, Lesson 3. This is writing in point slope form. We're just talking about another one of our forms to make things easier for us on graphing. So sometimes when we are graphing things, we're given a point and a slope, and we can change our equations into different forms easily when we get point slope form. Now point slope form is this right here. It's the y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1. x1 and y1 are points on the line that has the slope of m. So we'll be able to use that information to make things work for us. Now, it's important that we know that the point on this line is not a vertical line. So that's going to be helpful for us. All right, so let's do our very first one. It says that our job is to write an equation in point slope form for the line that passes through -2, 0 with a slope of a -3/2. Our job is to then graph it. All right, so this should be a fairly easy task. It's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Now I've taken the liberty of labeling x1 and y1. And then I didn't say what this is, but this is m. And all we got to do is plug it into the formula over here for the point slope form. All right, so it's going to look like so. The y is the y. The y1 is what we wrote down, so minus 0. M is that -3/2. And then x is x. And then our x1 was a -2. Now the only thing that we need to fix in this one is this minus a negative, which turns into a big plus sign. So the simplified version of this, y minus 0 is equal to a -3/2 times an x plus 2. And this is our information in point slope form. So we're going to take that point of a -2, 0, -2, 0. We're going to put that dot down, and then we're going to graph our slope of a -3/2. So when we graph a -3/2, that's us going down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 2, make it another dot. And then we're just going to repeat that pattern. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 2. Remember that we're doing this because a -3/2 is the rise over the run. So we're rising a -3 and running 2. Now, it's a good idea to go all the way through the graph. So you'll notice that I'm going to the opposite of down 3, right 2, and now I'm doing up 3, left 2. Our goal is that we're going to have a line that goes entirely through the graph, because the whole point of us having graphs is so that we can predict future or see past events. So here we have it. Here's our nice, beautiful line that is with a point of a -2, 0 and a slope of a -3/2. All right, so that's part of what we'll be doing for this assignment. The other part of this lesson is being able to change equations into standard form. So if you recall from Chapter 3, standard form, our x has to be a positive number, and it also has to have no fractions. So we have to get rid of this divided by 4 by multiplying everything by 4. So this y is going to get multiplied by a 4. This 3/4 x is going to get multiplied by a 4. And this -5 is going to get multiplied by a 4. So we're going to multiply each piece by a 4 to get rid of the fraction. So this will look pretty. It's going to say 4. Oh, that did not look pretty. It's going to say 4y. Sorry, the computer gets glitchy sometimes. And then 3 times 4 is 12. Divided by 4 is back to 3. 3x. And then this -20. Now, again, to put it into standard form, we have to get our x's and our y's on the same side, which means that we are going to move this to that side by subtracting 4y. And the -20 to the other side by adding 20. So I add 20, I subtract 4y, and I do all this to both sides because that's cheating otherwise. And we end up with, because those cancel and those cancel, a 3x minus a 4y, and then the other side is equal to a 20. And this is standard form from this slope-intercept form equation. All right, so next task will be us writing this point-slope form into slope-intercept form. Now this process is kind of nice too. If you remember, we always distribute first, so we're going to distribute this 4/3 to the x and to a -3. So it becomes 4/3 of an x, and then 4/3 times a -3 makes a -12/3, which is just a -4, so that turns into that. And then on the left side, we still have a y minus 5. So our job is to put it into slope-intercept form, so we need to make it say y equals, which means that this minus 5 needs to move to the right side. So we're going to add 5 to both sides, and we'll keep scrolling down here. And then it's going to say y is equal to a 4/3 x, and then a -4 plus 5 makes a +1. Now that y is pretty ugly. All right, now it looks much, much less ugly. So we have this equation in slope-intercept form. So there's lots of forms to remember for this specific lesson and this chapter in general. Don't worry, they're on the posters around the room. Wink, wink. All right, here's another one. Now this is going to seem like it's more difficult, but it's the same stuff, so bear with me. Lesson or question A, number A, is to write an equation in point-slope form for the line containing side BC. That's this line right here. So we're going to look at the points. We have a 4, 3, and a 6, -2. Now, I think it's easiest if we were to just go ahead and find slope from those 2 points. So if this is my x1, y1, x2, y2, and we're just going to plug it into that slope formula. So we're going to have a -2 minus 3 from our y2 minus y1, and a 6 minus 4 from our x2 minus x1. This makes us have a -5/2 for my slope. So m is equal to that. And then we just got to plug one of the points in. I'm going to choose the top one because it looks cooler. So we're going to leave it in point-slope form. That's my x, that's my y. So it's going to say y minus my y1, which is a 3, is equal to my x, which we figured out to be a -5/2, times that x minus the x1, which was a 4. And this is our point-slope form. Now, I have more, so we're going to scroll down. Step B, or number B, everyone's favorite thing to say, is to change this equation into standard form from that same exact line. So I'm going to do some math tricks here. Check this out. No one's going to know what I'm doing except for me, myself, and I think. All right, ready? Ready? Check this out. Oh, come on, stick with me here, game. Oh, no! Okay, we got this. We got this. Techniques. So we're changing this point slope form into standard form. So if you recall, last time we did this, we didn't have it in point slope form, we had it in slope intercept form. So our job is going to be to get rid of these fractions. But before we do that, I'd like to distribute. So let's go ahead and distribute. When we distribute, we get a -5/2x. And this -5/2 times that -4 makes top times top, because that's kind of like over 1 now. A -5 times a -4 makes a +20/2 makes a 10. So this turns into a +10 back here. And then the stuff on the left just stayed the same. So like last time, we need to get rid of this 2 for a denominator and multiply each one of the pieces by that denominator. So it's a common denominator getting multiplied out here. And actually, before we do that, it'd probably be smarter if I did this too. Let's move things over to that side. So let's go +3 so that we don't have to do it later. So in slope-intercept form, it's 5/2 x is +13. So now we're multiplying everything by that too. All right, let's do this. By the 2, by the 2. So what we have here, folks, is change colors for us. We have a 2y is equal to a negative 5x and then plus 26. So just like in our very first one, this moves over to the left side by subtracting 26. The 2y comes to the right side by subtracting 2y. So I go minus 2y, minus 2y, minus 26, minus 26. So then I am left with, as I cancel out my subtraction problems, a negative 26 is equal to this minus 5x, or a negative 5x, and then minus a 2y in standard form. And there we have it, folks. That's how we solve these types of problems. All right, this is 4-3. We're putting things in a point slope form. We're changing all sorts of different forms. It's kind of crazy and fun. And that's what we have for you. That's it. So this is the Bermination. I'm signing off, folks. Have a great day.